Good morning, folks. So, just out doing kind of a quick drive by some crops here. Plan of attack for today is we're gonna actually try to combine some wheat. So, I know this was a huge jump from planting. I'm gonna do an update video after probably our wheat series on spraying and planting and all that, and kind of recap planting a little bit, but just I videoed some stuff on spraying, but it was all over the place. It was stupid. I don't know what I was thinking, you know, with how I videoed some of that stuff, but I tried throwing some of it together and it didn't make sense. So that's why I didn't post anything on the spraying. Overall, the spraying actually went very well. So it's been very dry. Just like most of the Midwest. Been working off of very little rain. By now we usually have about 15 plus inches of rain, and we're down towards 7 since snowmelt. Not totally sure our annual rainfall. My guess it'd be up, you know, in the 30s. Stuff is definitely looking a lot better than it did here a week or so ago, or I would say about 2 weeks ago. We've been getting some decent rains here lately, but you know, we were going, you know, the only rains we were getting were, you know, a couple tenths at best, and we had some okay rains early in the growing season, but then it was just dry, you know, for a while, and I guess those small little rains saved us, but now we started getting some more sizable rains. And, you know, we got 1 3/10 or to 1 5/10 or 1.5 inches here the last week. You know, there was that rain, there was another 6/10 or something along those lines, but stuff is definitely perking up now. So and we are having corn starting to tassel too. So Dad started changing oils in the combine yesterday, and we had to shuffle everything. I don't know if we're gonna use the grain cart or not this year. We got a decent amount to do and it's kind of spread out. It's just Dad and I. Jeremy's on vacation and my other brother Joe is working until Fridays. We got a little over 100 acres to do, so it isn't gonna be tremendously bad, but might unhitch the other semi from the tender trailer and hook it up to another trailer and possibly bring that along and fill the semis up and then take them both in, and you know, Dad and I'll take them both in, or we'll try to do it in one truck, but we'll figure it out. So we got oils to change, and then we got to put these concaves in. These are concaves for wheat and soybeans. We don't run them in corn because we take every other wire out so that we have more capacity. All right, first thing to get these concaves out of here, I gotta take and get this bar off. I gotta loosen all these up here, and if I could put the wrench in the right way. I'll just slide this off, and these are part of the concaves here, and I was just holding them in on this side. So then the other side are bolted in. Alright, so all these bolts here came from up in here. This and holds these on. We're gonna have to take these ones out now. So like I said, these ones, every other wire pulled out. It's just, it gives us more capacity. We can still get a really clean drain sample with that. Just gotta keep the machine working. So combine has plenty of power because it's tuned, so basically put in there just to run higher speeds. So with higher yielding corn, you do have to slow down a little bit because we have plenty of rotor capacity, plenty of cleaning capacity, you know, plenty of power. Just all the flighting underneath for the clean grain to get to the tank. So there's an auger that comes from the sheaves that brings the grain up, and then it goes up this into the tank, up into the clean grain elevator. And that's the stuff that doesn't not have the capacity and that we get nervous about wearing out. Alright, now we need the filler plates. So we block off the first concave for wheat because otherwise there gets to be too much trash in the sample. So we homemade some sheet metal filler plates and just welded a couple nuts to, that's this front one. Welded a couple of nuts to here, just hold them in. Something simple but yet effective. All of, you know, a couple dollars of metal, or not even. Concave that would sit here, we're blocking that off so we don't get as much trash in the sample. Okay, now it's time to throw those in. Yeah. They were in it. Do it every year, so maybe we should. You know,
That's how much you're gonna do, right? I gotta figure out whether that up auger's gonna.
so what Dad was talking about was that up auger there. You can see it's starting to get really thin. So, might be something we have to switch out. I don't know. That would be a job. Now, just gonna bolt it back together. Alright, this side's done. Now it's time for the other side. Just gonna patch that up here quick and that's it for the concaves. Alright, so we're just gonna throw shields back on. Concaves are done now. And we're just gonna patch the rest of this up, and we gotta put take the flex out of the grain head and make it into a rigid head, which, you know, takes and makes the deck hard so it doesn't flex against the ground. So we do not flex along the ground just because of rocks and all that. We'll lift the head up with the combine, and then there's just some pins underneath. One person will lift the bar, or will lift the platform up, and the other person will put the pins in there. I've done it by myself before too, but it's a hell of a lot easier with with two people. So, but I'm gonna eat some lunch. I just fired it up to get the oil flowing. We're gonna shut it off and let it sit here for a little bit. Double check that. A couple other things. We gotta tighten some chains. This one's a little looser than we want. Yeah, it's good.
Got it down.
You need me to lift it up?
Yeah, a little bit. I want to make sure that it's head down.
This tailing's going to need to be tightened a little bit. That's not supposed to be super tight, but it seems like it's a little looser than it should be. And clean grain is good. We leave this down because it makes the furrow stack a little bit more, so it's easier to bale, and also whenever we're running over with the grain cart, it doesn't catch on the hitch. So here, if we had it open, it'd just make a really fluffy, messy windrow. So we put that down so it kind of stacks it up, makes it a little nicer. I'll show you guys more on that when we do it. You guys are a tender trailer quick. So we originally had a 1,850 gallon tank, so just a single tank. Ended up having a hole in it, so we took it back, and they didn't have another one. So, but this is what they did have, and for $400 more we got this. So, so we can carry. These are two 1,300, so we can carry 2,600 gallons of water. And we put the inductor on here. We don't use it, but we got, you know, the tanks are obviously plumbed into it, you know, so that, you know, if you fill one tank, the other one fills with it. So they're plumbed into each other. And then we got our fill hose here, and then we got an inlet to fill the tanks up. And then this here is an adapter that hooks up to here so we can fill the rinse tank on the sprayer. We actually ended up using the rinse tank quite a bit. Alright, so from what it looks like, we're just gonna run this thing, just make sure everything works, and then we're locking the platform now too, so he's just getting stuff plugged in. Okay, maybe it's just raising the reel. Yeah, just clip it in. So we got a bad sickle guard or sickle section there.
Just one?
And then I'm looking. And another one right here.
Okay, so put your fingers on it.
Perfect. 2 left. Let's see about cutting some wheat. Gotta love the American flag. It's pretty sweet. I'll tell you one thing. So the Patriot has the same handle as what would be in the older Case combines. I think they started putting these ones in 2009 or whenever they started making these series 88s. So but they always had them in the flagship combine since they started making those. I'll tell you, I've been running that sprayer here, you know, lately. So when I first got into here today, this definitely felt different. All right. Ooh, hell. And it definitely feels more weird than the sprayer. Sprayer is a lot smoother. With the corn head on, this combine is smooth because it has front end weight and it takes the bouncing off from the tires. Well, now that it doesn't have any weight on the front, she bounces. And we're only going 16 miles an hour or 17 miles an hour. So, all right, well, we got a roughly 5 or so mile drive. So let's get cutting, or let's get there, I should say. Oh, corn's tasseling. Not gonna have super tall corn this year, but let's hope we keep getting rain now that we can set cobs. It's definitely cooler out, but it's supposed to heat back up next week, you know, up in the 90s or low 90s. So just as long as we got cool nights, you know, we'll be all set. You really got to do some trimming on this road. Jesus. I don't see a ton of silking. I am just, oh yeah, we're silking. I'm just looking at the outside row here. So I'm driving like a moron. Oh yeah, there's lots of silking in there. Yeah, it's looking good. Very healthy. I'm thoroughly surprised with how corn looks this year, or how anything looks with, you know, what it's been through. Alright, I went a little bit. Let's get out and check stuff. So like I say, that with this, it's with that flap there, it stacks this a little better to make a neater windrow. There's a couple right here, a few here. So just some. Got to remember that we're furrowing it, so it's not spreading it out. So that's actually pretty good. But we might make some adjustments, but I'm gonna go around the field. It is a little light in here, so we're gonna check it again once we get into some heavier stuff. All right, engage separator. This is running at 960 RPM on the rotors, so we want to engage that first before we engage the head. It's a little bit easier on the machine or on the engine, so, and on everything else, but mainly the engine. But yeah, it is a little thin in here. So, but this is pure sand ground here, so the bulk of it on the other side of the hill here looks pretty good, but And then down here looks all right too, so. All right, I'm gonna pay attention to what I'm doing. This stuff might be a little bit wet. It's running drier where it was dry, you know, moisture-wise for the ground, but you get down into some of the thicker stuff, and it's up in that 18, 19 area. So we've kind of made the guesstimate that the moisture is wrong because, you know, we did the crunch test and there just ain't no way that that's 18%. Alright, so we went and took a sample down to the co-op of that wheat over there and ended up being 16, 17%. So we're just looking here at some other stuff. We would have never thought it would have been this, just, you know, this wet, just with how crunched in your mouth, and, you know, it legitimately seemed dry. So this here didn't have as much rain as, you know, the stuff we were over on, but we're a solid, what, 10 miles away, you know, or a 10-mile drive away. It would probably be like 5 miles by the crow flies, or maybe a little bit more. But
definitely looks readier.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's ready. That. Alright. It's a lot more crunchy than that other stuff. So. Alright, well, guess I know what we're doing. Kind of fill you guys in here on what's exactly going on. We're headed over, I'm headed over now. We're gonna take and Dad's coming with the semi. We're gonna unload the combine, and then we're moving back over there. This was teetering in between 16 and a half and 17. I think it was like 16.8 or something like that. So we're gonna take and go over here, unload, and we're hightailing it that way. That way didn't actually get as much rain as over here did. There was a couple of rainstorms that this stuff got and that didn't. This is possibly 3 or 4 inches over what that is over there. It's amazing how, you know, by the crow flies, I think it's about 7 miles. It's amazing how it can change within that. So probably be a 10 or so mile drive back over there, and we're gonna take and get this stuff rolling. So that stuff's ready to go. Like, as you could probably see in the last few clips here, when we crunched on it, it snapped. My uncle's gonna be baling this, so most likely gonna be baling right behind. We got rain in the forecast for the end of the week, so he'll probably come over and bale this too, just to get this, you know, baled up so it doesn't get rained on. But the Whopping 2 passes. But we were not expecting it to be this wet. We were expecting, you know, around 13. So you know, we're 3 points off, which it ain't terrible, but. Alright, we're rolling. So I didn't video us hooking up because we had to take up the entire road to hook up, and I don't know. It seemed like there was some choice words said to a driver that decided to want to go around us when we were trying to hook up. People, have some patience, you know, we're trying to do a job here. I'll be interested to see what Dad says. happen. So, 'cause he didn't look too happy. Definitely gonna be a lot of straw here. Let's click the windrow. So, but I think we're also gonna have to get a grain cart over here because I didn't really get too far. So, gonna be interesting with two people. I do have to change this setting, but we are not really losing anything, but it shows that we are. It's just, I've gotten out and checked. I'm gonna check again here, but it's just, I have to set the particle size in the A-post there down or up or whichever way it goes. So, but it just, there's a lot of fines in here that it's sensing from the trash, so I ain't gonna be doing much moving there. So leave it to me, getting cab wheat right away. Now, there's a few, but we're probably amounting to not even a quarter or half a bushel an acre of loss, so this stuff is shelling really nice. Definitely more crunchy than the other stuff, so. But monitor is saying 16.2, but it's probably right around 14. So I was reading 2 points high, so should be all set. Oh, Dad went to get another truck. This truck here is full. I have 2 combine dumps in the back, and then the front has the combine dump from the other field that has more moisture. So, so now we're just sitting here waiting. I got another load on the combine. Alright, that is a wrap for today. Got that truck filled up and it's just getting a little damp out. And yeah, there's definitely quite a bit of straw here. So these windrows are nice. Alright, if you guys enjoyed day 1 of wheat harvest, I don't know how long we're gonna be at this, so yeah, should finish up here, and I don't know if we're moving tomorrow or not, but stay tuned. So hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you tomorrow.